The Zealoty raiders thought the human colony on Frontier 7 would be easy pickings. Their scouts reported minimal defenses. No plasma arrays, no force fields, no quantum weaponry. Just 300 farmers with primitive projectile weapons, chemically propelled metal slugs. The technology was literally thousands of years old by galactic standards. Commander Vexlor personally led the assault, bringing 50 of his best warriors armed with the latest in energy weapons. Their armor could deflect plasma bolts and absorb laser fire. They landed at dawn, expecting to be done by breakfast. They met Robert "Bobby" Kane standing in the middle of Main Street. Bobby was 73 years old, a veteran of Earth's last continental war. He wore faded jeans, work boots, and carried what looked like a museum piece, a Winchester Model 1894, manufactured in the year 2058. The wood stock was worn smooth from decades of use. The barrel showed patches of rust. "That's your weapon?" Vexlor laughed through his translator, his crystalline armor gleaming in the morning sun. "That primitive chemical thrower." Bobby spat tobacco juice onto the dirt. "This here's Bessie. She's killed plenty of things meaner than you." The Zealoty opened fire. Plasma bolts screamed through the air, turning the ground around Bobby into glass. Their targeting systems, designed to track energy signatures and heat patterns, locked onto nothing. Bobby wasn't wearing any tech they could detect. He was just meat and bone, moving in patterns their predictive algorithms couldn't process. Bobby fired once. The .30-30 round, a simple lead bullet with a copper jacket, punched through Vexlor's shoulder joint. The one spot where his armor plates met, a gap maybe 3 millimeters wide. The commander screamed, purple blood spraying. "Funny thing about fancy armor," Bobby said, working the lever action with practiced ease. "It's designed for energy weapons. Disperses heat, deflects coherent light. But a chunk of lead moving at 2,200 feet per second? That's just basic physics. Force equals mass times acceleration." Another Zealoty charged. Bobby shot him in the knee, the bullet shattering the complex servo joint that their armor needed to move. The alien collapsed, his 100,000 credit battle suit now a prison. "See your problem," Bobby continued, walking forward as plasma fire continued to miss him, "is you forgot about kinetic energy. You spent so long fighting with light and heat that you forgot about good old-fashioned momentum." 3 more shots. 3 more Zealoty down, each bullet finding the tiny gaps their armor needed for movement, joints, ventilation ports, sensor arrays. Bobby wasn't aiming for kills. He was aiming for mechanical failure. "Plus," Bobby added, ejecting spent casings that tinkled on the ground, "energy weapons are real nice until you run out of power. Me? I've got 300 rounds in my pockets. Each one cost about 50 cents to make. Your suit probably cost more than this entire colony." The Zealoty tried to adapt, but their training was useless. They'd learned to fight enemies who stood still, who relied on shields and cover. Bobby moved like liquid, never where their targeting systems expected, using instincts honed by decades of hunting creatures that could smell fear and hear heartbeats. "My grandfather," Bobby said, dropping another raider with a shot to the hip joint, "fought in the Appalachian Resistance, killed 30 enemy soldiers with a rifle older than this one. My great-great-grandfather used a similar gun in the water wars. Killed men wearing power armor by shooting out their cameras, leaving them blind. More colonists emerged from buildings, carrying their own ancient firearms. Shotguns from the 20th century. Bolt-action rifles that belonged in museums. Revolvers that still used black powder. Each one found gaps, joints, weak points. The Zealothy's million-credit armor became their tomb as simple lead bullets destroyed servos, shattered sensors, and jammed mechanical systems. "You know what your real problem is?" Bobby asked, standing over the wounded Commander Vexlor. "You thought old meant obsolete. But this gun, this killed men, bears, synthetic soldiers, gene-modified super predators, and now aliens. It doesn't need batteries. It doesn't care about EMP. It doesn't require software updates." He chambered another round with a satisfying click-clack. "It just needs someone who knows where to point it. And humans? We've been practicing killing each other with these things for 600 years. We've gotten real good at it. The surviving Zealothi fled, spreading word across the galaxy. Humans still used kinetic weapons. Ancient, primitive, brutal devices that turned their advanced armor into expensive coffins. Bobby cleaned Bessie that evening, the same way his grandfather had taught him. The other colonies started receiving requests from alien species, asking about purchasing vintage Earth firearms. Vintage, Bobby chuckled, loading fresh rounds. They still don't get it. It ain't about how old the gun is. It's about the species that's been perfecting killing since before we discovered fire. The Winchester went back on its rack above the fireplace, ready for the next fool who thought technology could replace thousands of years of specialized murder evolution.